punctuation. But what if you have the 4 different options giving you
better.
Yeah, so when you have everything okay in the different options, grammar, meaning, and punctuation, then we have the rule that says shorter is better, right? And here we have 3 sections that are related to this general rule. Number 1 is redundancy. What is redundancy? Do you know, guys?
Unnecessary repetition.
Okay, so it's unnecessary repetition. And when does it happen, Muhammad?
When I mention something and I mention it again.
Using?
A different word.
Okay, so synonyms, right? When you have synonyms and both words have the same meaning, then you have unnecessary repetition, and that's called redundancy. The second part of the rule is about wordiness. And we said wordiness is just using extra words that we don't actually need. And the third part, if you have one option with active voice and the other one passive voice, then which one should we choose?
Active.
The active voice. Why?
Shorter.
Because it's shorter. All right, so we start with these exercises and then we still have 4 and 5, okay? So guys, look, see how it works, okay? If you look at the underlined part here, you can see that formerly in a time that is now past, 3D printers were expensive tools wielded by professional designers who used them to create prototypes of products, such as mobile phones or airplane parts. So of course, now, if we look at the underlying part here, first of all, you have formerly, which is in the past, and then they are explaining that again in a time that is now past. We are repeating the same thing. So what is this?
Redundancy.
That's redundancy, right? We need only one of these. So we either use in the past alone or just formerly alone. And the only option that gives us one expression is B. So B is the right answer. Shorter is better. Okay? As simple as that. So the answer for number 1 in this paragraph is B. Okay? Now, if we go to the second question, not only can they design in addition to printing objects, but they can also make copies of physical objects by scanning them. So again, here we have design in addition to printing. If you look at the other options, guys, you can see that, do they give us any different meaning? They all give us the different meaning, but it's just different ways of writing them. So we choose which one? The shortest one, which is?
Design.
Yes, just design and plan. So not only can they design and print objects, but they can also make copies of physical objects. Again, shorter is better. Number 3, okay, and I'd like to have Samer here to help me. Samer, the underlined part is here, right? Again and again.
Yes, miss.
Where is the beginning of the sentence? We can say, for example, here. Yeah, using a camera to turn multiple pictures into a 3-dimensional model, which can repeatedly be printed again and again. So in this context, when we start reading here until the end, do you think that we need to use again and again?
No.
Why?
Most of the game. No.
So we choose C? Okay, look at the context.
No need for it because we use repeatedly.
All right, so now if we look in the context, we have the word repeatedly. So we have this idea of repetition already mentioned. So the best option here is to delete that part. Okay? Because over and over again, once and again, all of us, we know that they give us the same meaning, but we already have repeatedly, which is enough. So we can just delete this part. Thank you, Samer.
I have a question.
Sure.
So the redundancy and readiness, they have close meanings, right?
They are just different ways of using extra words. But
Yes.
redundancy, usually it's synonyms, words that explain each other. But
That's redundant.
wordiness,
Mm.
if you remember, we did a question last time. Instead of just of saying in a or speaking in a pragmatic way, we can just say pragmatic.
Yes. Okay.
Let's look at, let's look at 5. Adam, why don't you help us? We start from the beginning, right? So rainbows can be observed when there are water drops in the air and sunlight shining from behind the observer. They're usually seen in a visible way in the western sky during the morning and in the eastern sky during the early evening. The underlined part is telling us seen in a visible way in the western sky. What do you think of this option?
I think B.
B, why? Because it's shortest, right?
Yeah.
I know that. But what's wrong with A? Or with C? Or with D? We need to know what's wrong.
Same.
What is it?
B the same meaning.
Look, we have seen and
Visible.
in a visible way, right? So we just choose B, observable. All right. Question number 2. Yahya, are you there?
Yes.
Why are you
Yes,
hiding,
sir.
man?
Excuse me.
A lot of people today are not opening up their camera, and that's not what we agreed on.
No, my light bulb is hot or something. I don't know.
Okay. So Yahya, here we're saying that the result is a luminous rainbow that contrasts with the dark background.
Excuse me.
Okay. So Yahya, which one would you choose for question number 2?
A. No
A,
change.
no change. Thank you. Because what's the meaning of luminous?
Bright.
It means bright. It means full of light, light filled, whatever. So all of these options, B, C, and D, are repeating the same idea with 2 different words, but we need actually one of them. Guys, just look at your microphones. If you're not using it, please just turn it off so that there is no echo, all right? Okay, Jana, the rainbow effect can also be artificially created unnaturally when water droplets are dispersed into the air during a sunny day. What would we choose here, Jana?
To delete it because unnaturally and artificially mean the same thing.
Okay, so we already have in the sentence the word artificially, which gives us a similar meaning to unnaturally. So we delete unnaturally. Okay, thank you. And the last one, let's see, Sana. So we're saying that rarely a moonbow at nighttime rainbow can be seen during the night because a human color perception is poor in low light. Moonbows are often perceived as white. If we look at the underlined part during the night, what should we do with it? Keep it, change it, or delete it? Why?
Because like they said nighttime.
Exactly.
During the night.
Yes, thank you guys. So it's already mentioned that it's at night time. So what can we learn from this simple topic is, first of all, the type of question is easy, right? We always go for the shortest. But what makes it a little bit tricky is the context. You have to make sure that there are no other words repeating the meaning, okay? Now let's start with something else. When we talk about parallel lines in math, what do we mean? Who can tell me what parallel lines are?
They never cross.
Sorry?
They
Radwan?
never intersect.
Yeah, exactly. Radwa, 2 parallel lines are going in which direction?
In the same direction.
In the same direction, right? Okay, now in English, in grammar or style, we also have what's called parallel structure. So now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna see a short video, okay? And while we're seeing the video, what should we do, Adam? Should take notes. Do you have anything to write on? Okay. And then, of course, we discuss these notes that we can get from the video. We explain them, have some examples, and then if you have any questions, and then we practice, okay? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. So again, we're talking about parallel structure, and it's part of our writing course. So I'm gonna play it for a few seconds, and if you still if you can hear well and see the screen well, I'm gonna ask you, okay? So please confirm.
Hello, grammarians. Hello, Rosie. Hello, Paige.
Hi, David. Hi, David.
Today, all three of us are going to be talking about parallel structure.
Sorry. So guys, can you see well? Can you hear well?
Yes.
Okay. So now please just turn off your microphones. Keep watching and take notes.
And I've always had trouble spelling the word parallel, but Rosie pointed out something just before we started recording that is blowing my mind. Rosie, how do you spell parallel?
Well, it's fun because the two L's that are together in the word are together in the middle of the word.
Look at that, they're parallel. That's all.
It's fun.
That's amazing. Parallel structure is less a consideration of grammar, and it's really more about style. Right? Parallel structure basically means that when you're making some kind of list in a sentence, if you're using a series of verbs or if you're using a series of nouns, any series of words, they should all roughly line up with one another. So let's say I was an outdoorsman, and I said, I love fishing, skiing, and rock climbing. Now each one of these is a gerund, right? It is the ing form of a verb. We're using it as a noun. And this sentence exhibits parallel structure. But, sometimes you'll see a sentence that'll mess that up, right? So let's say you were editing someone's personal statement, an athlete's personal statement, and they said, I love fishing, skiing, and to climb rocks. Now, there's nothing grammatically incorrect about this sentence. It makes sense, it is legal in the way that it is composed, but stylistically, it just doesn't harmonize. So this is not parallel, but this is.
Some other things to look out for to make sure you're making a sentence parallel is if everything is active voice or passive voice, infinitive verbs versus other forms of verbs, like to eat versus eating, and a string of individual modifiers like adjectives versus larger phrases.
Let's put that into action. Okay, so active versus passive voice.
So an example, if we're not going to have parallel structure, would be something like the cake was baked, frosted, and I put sprinkles on it.
So what we're saying here is that here is a passive thing that happened to the cake. The cake was baked. Here's another passive thing that happens to the cake. The cake was frosted by someone else, and then that someone else comes in and Paige says, I put sprinkles on it. But if we're going to assume that sprinkled is now a verb that means to be covered in sugary cake decorations, we would say the cake was baked, frosted, and sprinkled. Or decorated with sprinkles. But I kind of like sprinkled. So that's active versus passive. We've already covered infinitive versus other verb forms. So that's, skiing. Well, that's to ski versus skiing. So this is what we call an infinitive form, and this is another form that's called a gerund. So make sure to keep those separate in your lists. And then lists of individual terms versus longer phrases. So if you are describing something with a string of adjectives, be careful when you follow it up with a longer phrase.
For example, sharks are large, damp, and dangerous. Those are all just short individual modifiers, as opposed to sharks are large, damp, and not to be trifled with.
And look, again, we're not saying this is not a grammatical sentence. It is. And sometimes you may want to break parallel structure in order to have some sort of particular effect. If you are trying to draw attention to this last element, then yeah, you might want to break parallel structure. But we want to make you aware that there is just a sort of general tendency towards making your sentences harmonious in this way. Baked, frosted, and sprinkled, large, damp, and dangerous. And then when you want to have access to that ability, to really draw attention to that last element, then you can say, you know what? I'm going to make this perpendicular. Now, is perpendicularity, is that a thing that I just made up right now? Yes. Are we going with it? Maybe.
Yeah,
Do we,
I like it.
Yeah?
It's not parallel.
It's not parallel.
It's not parallel.
Well, I suppose.
Okay. So let's see here. So the first note that we can make here is that parallel structure. It's more about style, right, than grammar. But when do we start to think about the structure, if it's parallel or not? What is parallel structure? When does it start to happen? Yes?
Using the same types of verbs in the sentence.
But what do we have in the sentence?
Like
Active, passive voice, active and the passive verb.
Look, you are going to the specific details first. Simply, parallel structure happens if the sentence has a list, okay? A list of anything, a list of nouns, a list of verbs, a list of adjectives. So the keyword here is a list, okay? So
List of items, right?
here's the thing. When there is a list of items, okay, in the sentence, okay, all the items, again, it doesn't matter, it can be a group of verbs, a group of nouns, a group of adjectives, whatever. So when you have a list of items in the sentence, all the items, how are they parallel? They must have the same form. Okay, that's the rule. You have a list of items in your sentence, you need to make sure that the sentence is parallel. How? All these different elements in the same list must have the same form. And here are the things that we are supposed to look out for, that you mentioned, guys, okay? The first thing that we can talk about is verb forms, okay? You have a list of verbs. You cannot have one verb with ing, and then the other verb with ad, and the third verb infinitive. No, they should all have the same structure, okay? And here are some examples of different forms. Of course, first of all, we have the base form, which is the verb as it is without any addition. We have the infinitive form, which, as you know, guys, it's 2 plus verb. So we have the infinitive form, and then we have the gerund, which is the ing form, right? So when you have a list of verbs that are gerund, all the verbs must be gerund. They must all be with ing. Yes, exactly, and so on. If they are all of the same form, we can say the sentence is parallel. If not, then there's something wrong and we should fix it. The second thing is about the voice of the verb, because as you know, we have active voice, and then we have passive voice. So again, all the verbs in the list should be active or all of them passive. You cannot mix. You cannot have one active, one passive. The third one is about individual words versus long or longer phrases. Again, it's either a group of words or a group of phrases. We can also add here something that's not mentioned in the video, which is the verb tenses, okay? All the verbs in the list, again, I'm just saying if the verbs are in the same list, they should all be in the present, or all of them in the past, or all of them in the future, and so on.
So what is the difference between the past and the present?
Sorry?
What's the difference between
Okay, tense, it refers to the time, right? Present, past, future. The form, it has nothing to do with the time. It's just different way of writing the verb. For example, I don't want. Give me any verb after want. What should we say? I don't want. Want to play? Is that what we say? To play. So what did we add to? That's the form that must come after want. But I love reading. Why ing? Because after love, we must have a verb with ing. Okay? So the form is the shape, how the verb must be put. The tense refers to the time, present, past, future. Of course, all of this, guys, I know it's theory, right? But we can understand much better if we put this theory into practice. So let's see, first of all, with a very easy, exercise, let's see how we can do it. All right, let's see. Okay, great. Let's see here. So first of all, we have some examples, okay? So the first side showing you some examples that are not correct, like here, eating sandwiches. So here we have a verb with ing, and to drink milk are my lunchtime mainstays. Again, grammatically, it's not wrong, it's fine. But when we talk about the style of the sentence, it's not parallel. You have two verbs. One of them is gerund, eating, and the other one is infinitive, to drink. And that doesn't work. So both, for example, must be gerund. Eating sandwiches and drinking milk are my lunchtime mainstays. That's parallel. Another thing that we can add to the parallel structure is those. We have either A, subject A, or B. And then we have neither A nor B. The third one is not only A, but also B. Okay, so this is also part of the parallel structure. I'm going to add it to my whiteboard. Okay, when you have two subjects and the sentence starts with either, then how do we connect the two subjects with or? If we have neither, we connect them with nor. If we start with not only, we must have but also. So that's why if you look at the second example here, look, they are saying incorrect. Why? Because we started with neither the dog or the cat, and this is wrong. It should be neither nor. Okay, and now it's parallel. The third one, we said that it's either individual words or phrases. You cannot have a mix of words and phrases, right? So respond to the essay question quickly and with thoroughness. As you can see here, this is an adverb, it's one word, but here we have, what kind of phrase is this, guys?
Prepositional.
Prepositional phrase, good. So here we have one word, but here we have a group of words. And again, that's not parallel. Instead of saying quickly and with thoroughness, we can just say quickly and thoroughly. And now we have two individual words and both of them are adverbs. And that's parallel, okay?
Does the incorrect way works as speaking?
Sorry?
The incorrect way works as speaking? They can't
They
speak
work in speaking?
Yeah.
Yes, look, you need to keep in mind always that the SAT test is an academic test, which means all the rules that we are following here for the SAT are for formal language. And informal, it's up to you. Okay? We can add here number 5, as we said, look. We can add first both A and B. Okay? And then we have either A
Sure.
or B, neither A, yes, nor B. Guys, just be careful with your microphones. If there is noise around you, make sure that you turn your microphone off. The last one, not only A, but also B. Okay. And we're going to save this, of course, so that we can send it on the group we studied from. Okay. So let's save it as PDF so that we can learn from it. Shall we start with the exercise?
I have a
Do you
question.
have any question?
Yes.
All right.
You said something about verb and word alone. I didn't get what you meant.
What is it?
يعني you said إنه يعني when a verb comes and يعني the parallelism or parallel structure doesn't come if we have a verb and a verb يعني a verb alone.
Right.
with
Look, with the examples, you're gonna get it. Okay. Let's look here. For example, here we have 5 sentences. Okay. If you look, guys, at the first one, driving the sports car is both exhilarating and relaxed. All right. So as you can see, we have 2 adjectives. One with ing, the other one is with ed. That's not parallel. So we should say yes, exactly. And relaxing. Now both adjectives end with ing, and that's parallel. And number 2, in the gym, on the field, and the classroom, Hannah acted like a true champion. What's wrong? Yes, in the classroom. Why? Look, this is a prepositional phrase, right? Guys, do you know what the phrase is? What is it? A group of words. So when we start the group of words with a preposition, what type of phrase is it? Prepositional phrase. The second one, in the same way, it's also a prepositional phrase, but the third one, it's a noun phrase. And we have different types of phrases that doesn't work. To make it parallel with the other ones, what should we add at the beginning? A preposition. So in the gym, on the field, and in the classroom. As simple as that. But now you have all the 3 phrases parallel. The third one, is there something wrong with number 3?
Either you win or lose.
Okay, now, look, let me tell you something. Number 3 is correct as it is. There's nothing wrong with it, but the other you, it's up to you. You can keep it, you can delete it. So you can say, either you win or you lose, or you can just say either you win or lose. Okay, both are acceptable. Number 4, it's about verbs. We have a list of verbs. Let's see, look. In the adventure movie, they ran through the forest. So this is the past of run, right? Fought, fierce predators. This is the past of fight. The third one, and stopping the evil villains. The third one should also be past, right? It doesn't make sense to have 2 past verbs and the third ing. So we're just gonna change stopping into stopped. When we did this, what happened? All the 3 verbs now are in the past tense. So that's about the verb tenses. When you have a group of verbs in the same list, they must all of them have the same tense, whether it's past or future or present. The last one, it's about whether we use individual words or phrases. Why? Because look, my friends has honesty. This is one word. The second, with kindness, that's not a word, that's a phrase. The third, yes. And the third one is what? It's also a phrase. Is there unity in the length? No. We have honesty, 1 word. With kindness, 2 words. And also acts in a generous way, we have like 5, 6 words. We need to make them either all of them phrases or all of them words. But we have the rule that says shorter is better. So which one is better to make, words or phrases? Words, exactly. So now we have to change has. And we should say, my friend is honest. And what should we add now?
Kind.
Kind. And
Generous.
generous, exactly. Did we change anything in the meaning? No. But now all the adjectives that you can see here are individual words. They all have the same form. Everything is fine. My friend is honest, kind, and generous.
وانا لو كنت حولت honesty لفريز هتبقى صح برضه؟ يعني عموما
Yes.
هتبقى صح.
But look, would you prefer to say my friend has honesty or my friend is honest? Okay, that's the issue. There's something that's acceptable, but there's something that's better. All right. Do we have any questions?
Another question, yeah. Be number 2, it's the thing be in the field on the gym. You left it on the field?
No. Yes, on the field. Yeah, it works.
So like in the gym, on the field, in the classroom or something?
Yeah, look, you don't have to have the same preposition, but all the phrases must be prepositional. But it depends on the thing. Like we say famous for, but we cannot say interested for, interested in, right?
Yes.
So the preposition changes, but at least you have the same form, 3 prepositional phrases. Hamad, focus here. Now, we haven't started yet, huh? But let's do just one worksheet that's easy and simple, and then we can have a break. Okay. Now, but the idea is clear for everybody. Easy, right? Okay. Let's see here. Let's start with this worksheet, okay? As you can see first, here we have sentences and they're telling us in each sentence there's something wrong in parallel structure and we have to fix it. So let's look at the first one. In the spring, summer, or in the winter, we will go to Germany. First of all, let's just decide what is this about? Verb form, verb tense, active, passive, phrases versus words. What is it about?
Phrases versus words.
Good. So here, in the spring, that's a prepositional phrase. Summer, one individual word. Or in the winter, that's another phrase. How can we fix them? So in the spring, in the summer, or in the winter. So when we added in the before summer, now all the 3 phrases are parallel, right? But if we want to follow the same rule, shorter is better, how can we fix that? We can just say in spring,
Summer or winter.
Summer or winter. Again, if you said in the spring, in the summer, or in the winter, or in spring, summer, or winter, both are acceptable. But this is shorter and shorter is better. Okay? So now I'm gonna give you some time, guys, to do the other ones. We have from number 2 to number 6. We're gonna look at each sentence. We're gonna try to find out what's wrong when we talk about parallel structure, and then we are going to fix it. Okay? No, don't worry, it's printed for you. You have a pen. All right. So let's get started. 3 minutes, and then we're gonna check our answers together.
Are some of the statements correct?
Sorry?
Are any of the statements correct? Any no?
No, they all
They're all
have something wrong.
Okay. Do we say responsible of ولا responsible for? Responsible for, right?
All right. Now it depends on the sentence that you have. Okay. So of providing, responsible of providing. Yeah, it's better to say responsible for providing. No, we can keep it off. It's not a big deal. But the problem is not here. Look, okay, since we started with this, let's do it. So now, guys, if we focus on number 5, the teacher has the responsibility of, and it works, okay? You don't have to change it to 4. Yes, usually we use 4 after responsibility, but not always. It depends on the structure that you have. But again, our problem is not here, okay? Because after we have responsibility of, the first verb we have has ing, providing, right? Providing supplemental help, and, but this one is not ing, it's infinitive, and that's not parallel. So what should we say? Okay, so we're gonna keep everything as it is. We're just gonna change the infinitive form, and we're gonna make it just like the first one, ing. So reviewing.
I have a
All
question.
material. Yes.
Can I say the teacher is responsible of providing and reviewing all test materials? ولا?
No. Here's the thing. Responsible is an adjective, so it must be followed by 4. Okay? But responsibility is a noun, and that's why it's followed by of.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. So let's move to the other ones now. But moving to the other ones, again, I can still that, guys. A lot of you are not opening up their cameras, and I don't understand why. We agreed on that from day 1. So again, Jana, Yahya, Radwa, Sidra, Usama, and Anas. Everybody, please open up your cameras.
Can I open my camera next time, because I wasn't aware that we have to open them today.
Okay.
Mine is open, but I opened the Zoom from 2 devices. That's why.
Usama, can you hear me, Usama?
Yes, Mr. I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Now, if we look at sentence number 2, okay, who's gonna help me with it?
I can't open my camera because it's so dark.
Where are you, Yahya? In a cave?
No, I'm in my room, but the light bulb isn't working.
Okay, I'm just kidding. So if Adam is going to help us in number 2. Adam, what should we do? Good. So here, what is the problem? The problem is about active and passive. We have a list of verbs. The first one, decorates, that's active. And then we have picks up, that's active. But the last one, the friends are invited, is what? Passive. And as we said, you're gonna have a mix of both. All of them are active or all of them are passive. And since we have 2 active, then of course the third one should also be active. So we can just, guys, look, delete this part, and instead we can write and invites his friends, or just a friends, it's not a big deal, over for dinner. And now the 3 verbs are all active: decorates, picks up, and invites. Okay? Muhammad, why don't you help us with number 3? The other Muhammad.
The internet can be used to find word meanings, medical information, and communicating others. The problem is the words vs the phrases.
Good. Now, Muhammad, word meanings. What kind of phrase is this? What type?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Good. Medical information.
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Perfect. So what's wrong here is this, because it's a gerund phrase, right? Now, how can we make this a noun phrase?
Hotel location.
Make it plural?
Hotel's location.
No. Hotel locations.
Oh.
All right. So now we have word meanings, medical information, and hotel locations. All 3 phrases are now noun phrases. No, to locate, that's infinitive. 2 plus verb. Okay.
Can you make
So
them
we
all
need.
infinitive?
Why would you do that? You have only one thing wrong. You are not asked to change the whole thing. Just fix what's wrong.
Okay.
Like, don't try to make things difficult for yourself, okay?
Okay.
Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you cannot be creative. Of course you can. But I'm talking about the issue of following the rules of the test. Now, number 4.
Can I do number 4?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Tennis requires hand-eye coordination, flexibility, and to be able to concentrate.
Good. So we have 2 nouns, and then we have an infinitive phrase. That is
Tennis
not
requires
terrible.
hand-eye coordination, flexibility, and concentration.
Thank you so much. And now we have the 3 individual words, and all of them are nouns. Coordination, flexibility, and concentration. We already did number 5. We said except instead of to review, we can just say reviewing. Number 6. Usama, can you do it for us? Veronica
Mr.
threw the rock at the window and the glass was broken. First of all, can you tell me what the problem we have here is?
Yes. The sentence starts with threw at the rock, but then the second part of the sentence says was broken. So we have active and passive in the same
Thank you.
sentence.
Exactly. How can we make it parallel now?
Veronica threw the rock at the window and broke the glass.
Thank you. Perfect. So we can just delete this part and say Veronica threw the rock at the window and broke the glass. So now we have 2 verbs in the past, and both of them are active. Threw and broke. What?
The rock was thrown.
In the previous lesson, what did we say? If you have active or passive, which one should you choose? Active. Okay, that's why we made it both active. She threw the rock and broke the glass. Okay, so now, guys, very quickly, let's do the other ones that we have here. Okay, so Tasneem, let's do number 7 together. Here we have Brad and Dennis rode their motorcycles, swimming with sharks and running with bulls. What should we do, Tasneem?
Rode and swam.
Okay, swam with sharks and
ran with bulls.
Ran with bulls. Thank you. And now the 3 verbs are in the past: rode, swam, and ran. Radwa, number 8. The professor scolded the students for what? Number 1, failing the test. Number 2,
Coming to school late.
thank you. Coming to school late. And
He bullied the classmates.
how can we make it parallel? We should have ing. So we say and
Classmates.
bullying his classmates. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let me see. Sidra, can you do number 9, please? Chefs love to utilize rare ingredients, while homemakers prefer to cook with familiar food.
And use leftovers.
Use
and
leftovers.
create quick meals.
Good. Thank you so much. Now, talking about number 9, we know that it's infinitive, right? So if you say to cook, to use, and to create, that's the original thing, and that's correct. But we don't have to repeat to. All right? It's just enough to say to cook, and then we can just say use and create.
Always in infinitive phrases, if we have them, they're all like each other. We don't have to put to.
Yes, like when you have something in the past continuous, we don't say we were playing football, we're watching TV, we're having fun. We delete the auxiliary and we just say we were watching TV, playing football, and having fun. We don't have to repeat the auxiliary, and here we don't have to repeat to. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
The one about flexibility or concentration, what was the answer?
Concentration.
You kept flexibility and changed concentrating to concentration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flexibility is a noun. Coordination is a noun, and that's why we changed the phrase to be able to concentrate, which is an infinitive phrase, to a noun, concentration.
Okay, what
So you
about
have
the
three
one of,
nouns.
what about the one of locating?
Hotel locations.
Hotel locations. Okay, yes, thank you.
Welcome. If we're going fast, you can tell us so that we can slow down. Okay, guys? If we're going fast, just tell me. We can slow
No,
down
it's
a little
just
bit.
the internet, it's cut off. I'm sorry.
No problem. All right, let's now have a 15-minute break. We're gonna come back at 6:55, and now Muhammad is gonna be the fastest man ever. All right, 55, we're gonna come back. So please stick around. Okay, guys, are you still here? Let's open up our cameras, please.
في شيء في التلغرام.
Okay, guys, so we're still on the same topic, this parallel structure. Just to remind you, we can go back to our whiteboard, and these are all the rules that you need to know about parallel structure. And remember, it's just when you have a list in the sentence, then you need to make sure that all the items of that list have the same form. And these are the main issues: verb forms, active voice or passive voice, words or phrases, verb tenses, and then these correlative conjunctions. Do we have any question? Where is everybody? Tasneem, Jana, Usama, Rabwa, Sidra, Yahya. Where is everybody? Come on. I'm not gonna keep telling you to come back.
I'm here.
Okay. So now let's go to Erica's book. So here now, after we practiced on sentences, of course, you know that the SAT has a specific way of asking us questions. So if you look here, we are having some examples about parallel structure. As you can see, changes in wind circulation, comma, runoff from sewage, and to accumulate chemical fertilizers can lead to the creation of ocean waters low in oxygen and inhospitable to marine life. So as you can see, the first word, changes, is a noun. The second list also starts with a noun. But the third one, what does it start with? Can you tell me? 2 plus verb.
Infinitive phrase.
Infinitive, exactly. So that's not parallel, right? What should we use here? They accumulate chemical fertilizers. Shall we have subject and verb?
No.
No. Accumulating?
The
Chemical-
accumulation.
Good. So C doesn't work here because it's ing, gerund. We need a noun. Accumulation of chemical fertilizers. And yes, the answer is D. Okay.
Sometimes the nouns are the gerund.
Yes.
Need that.
If the only noun in the options you have is a gerund, and you have other gerunds in the sentence, then you go for it. Look, I just want to make it clear for everybody. Look, on the SAT, you can never have two acceptable answers. Sometimes here in any of the SAT books, sometimes the options are confusing because these books are not made by College Board. I'm a teacher, for example, trying to create questions like the SAT. Why? Because look, this is something about copyright. College Board doesn't allow anybody to write a book using its material. So they have to create the material. And sometimes they don't actually match the type of question. Sometimes the question is confusing. Sometimes the options are confusing. But I'm telling you, be 100% sure that on the SAT, you will not have confusing answers, especially in the writing test. If you know the rule and if you practice enough, you will be 100% sure that there is one right answer. Okay? Not easier or more difficult. It's just, it's accurate. It's correct. It's exact. Now, let's look here. Because they have a highly developed sense of vision, most lizards are able to use clear body language and changing their colors. As you can see here, we have infinitive, here we have gerund. That doesn't work. What should we choose?
D.
D. As we said, look, here we have two verbs infinitive, and we don't have to repeat two. Okay, to use and change. Again, if you say to use and to change, of course, that's correct, but it's also easier to say to, use and change. All right, so there's nothing new here, just they are showing us examples. So here again, look, as we said, not only, but also. So A is wrong and B is wrong. Now, if you look at C and D, they both contain but also. But which one should we choose? C or D?
C.
Yes, thank you, Muhammad. Because now we have the same preposition, which is for. Not only for the brilliance, but also for the vividness. All right. One important point I want you to focus on, guys, is that sometimes we can have a parallel structure question with multiple sentences. Everything we've practiced so far is just about a list inside a sentence, okay? But sometimes the parallel structure can happen with multiple sentences, which means if you have 2 or 3 sentences and you want them to be parallel, they must have the same structure. How? First of all, they will tell you this. They will always ask the same kind of question. They will say, which choice best maintains, which means keeps. The sentence pattern, which means structure. And this is the most important part, already established in the paragraph. So what they are telling you basically here is, we have 2 or 3 sentences, and we want them all to have the same structure. So you look at the first one and the second one, and you should make the third one the same as the first and the second. How? Look, if we focus on the first sentence, this is the first sentence, right? And it says, an actor stands on the stage and delivers a monologue. That's the first part. What is it? Present simple. An actor stands. Okay, and then, we know that this is a complete sentence, right? It's independent clause. An actor stands on the stage and delivers a monologue. And the other part is dependent because it starts with a subordinating conjunction, which is as an audience hangs on until the word. So what kind of sentence is this? It's complex. The first part is independent. The second part is dependent because it starts with the subordinated conjunction as. Okay, clear enough? So it's a complex sentence. It has 2 parts. This is the first part, subject verb. This is the second part, subject verb, but the second one is dependent because it starts with as. Now let's look at the second sentence. Look, a singer performs, an actor stands. Are they the same form? Yes. And then what do we have? Performs a ballad as. Look, again, the same structure. As listeners fall silent. Our job now is to make sure that the option we choose has the same structure. So if you look at the underlying part, A, no change. As a group of spectators watching awe, dancers glide across the stage. Does that have the same structure?
No.
No. Actually, it is a complex sentence, and it has the subordinating conjunction as. They just changed the order. They started first with the dependent and then with the independent. But we should switch. All right, let's look at B. Watched by a group of spectators, dancers glide the stage. Does that give me the same structure? No. What about C? Gliding across. That's gerund. No. So the answer is D. And how can we match it? Look, an actor, a singer, dancers, stands. performs, glide. And then the other part, as, and this is the third one, as. And then audience.
Listeners.
Yes, thank you. Listeners and spectators. Okay, hangs, fall, watch. Did you get it? Tell me.
واحنا تاني بنعرف امتى ان هو المفروض نخليها تبع السنتنس كلها مثلا.
Look, they will always give you this question.
يعني هنا لما
This, yes, exactly. Always the same form of question. Okay. So whenever, guys, they tell us that we need to keep the same pattern of sentences already established in the paragraph, then if you are asked about, for example, the second sentence, then you need to look at 1 and 3 and make sure that the second is the same. Or here you are asked about the third one, then you look at 2 and 1. Or even if you are asked about the first one, then you look at the second and the third. No. Okay, even if it's 1, if it's 2, you look at the one that you are asked about and you make it the same as the one in the paragraph. Okay, so now we understand that parallel structure happens in one sentence when we have a list of items, or it can happen with multiple sentences. Do you have any questions so far? Is everything clear?
Yes.
Perfect. Let's go to the exercise part. And here we have a lot of paragraphs. Okay, we're gonna do some paragraphs together, and then we're gonna do some paragraphs on our own, and we're gonna leave the last part as homework. Let's start with the first one. We're gonna do it together, okay? Look, spiders are predators. You have it here. The exercise part. Spiders are predators. In the insect world, they are fearsome animals, the tiny equivalent of, and here starts the list: wolves, lions, or acting like sharks. So what should we do here? We have wolves, lions, or
sharks.
So the answer here must be which one?
C.
C, exactly. Again, here what are we talking about? Individual words. We cannot have wolves and lions, which are individual words, and then you have a phrase, acting like sharks. No, wolves, lions, or sharks. Let's move to the second question. Spiders use a wide range of strategies to capture prey, including, and after including we have the list, including what? 1, trapping it in the sticky webs. 2, lassoing it with the sticky balls. 3, and mimicking. Yes. So ing, trapping, ing, lassoing, ing, mimic. Now look, number 3 is actually tricky. Okay, you need to focus. Look, trapdoor spiders dig holes, covering them up with doors made of spider silk and lying in wait for passing prey. If we look at the verb here, it's base form, right? يحفر. Spiders dig holes. Okay. So since this one is the base form, like there's no infinitive, there's no ing, there's nothing added, just dig, maybe we can say cover, right? And that's parallel. But if you look at the third one, what are they saying? And then they lie. Then they lie is not needed. We can just say dig, cover, and lie. Okay, so C is wrong. All right. Why? Let me tell you. Do you remember the rule I told you about? If you have 2 sentences and you want to join them together, and the subject of the second one is already mentioned in the first one, what do? Do you remember that rule?
We keep only the first one. The first
So
subject.
we delete the second one.
And they make the verb ing with ing.
Good. We add a comma and a verb with ing, and that's exactly what's happening here. Look, comma, a verb with ing. Okay? So, trapdoor spiders dig holes, covering them up with doors made of spider milk and lying. So actually the list here has only two verbs, which are covering and lying. So the answer would be no change. Again, but why didn't we start with dig? We didn't say digging. Remember, the list starts here, and that's outside the list, because here we started with a comma, right? So the answer is A. Now, why doesn't B work? Because as you can see here, what do we have? ing, but here, infinitive, different forms, doesn't work. What about D? The opposite, infinitive and then ing, different forms. Is that clear enough?
Yes.
So dig holes and cover, they have the same subject, right?
Yes, exactly. Now let's move to the second paragraph here on the same page. Copy editors review documents for errors in grammar, punctuation, and who can tell me the answer?
Spelling.
Spelling. Again, what is this question about? Individual words. Anas, weren't you here online?
I was I had the January
an appointment. Okay, no problem.
Spelled I guess at the foot or
Sorry?
spelled. I guess it's not changed because words are passive. They are spelled, not spelling.
Okay.
Are spelling words, but words are spelled.
Why do we need the passive?
Because we are spelling words, but words are spelled.
Okay, but look, copy editors review documents for errors in what? In grammar. Grammar is a noun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the second one, punctuation. It's also a noun. So look, grammar is a noun, punctuation is a noun, and we need another noun.
Ah, yes. Okay, I get it. I thought that you changed the spell, not the whole sentence, how words are spelled.
Yeah, I got you. Now, they suggest revisions such as, look, of course we should know where the list starts, and we have words like including, such as, for example, and so on. Yahya, how are you?
Yes.
There's light now, man. What happened?
I went to another room.
Okay, so look, we said now that the list starts with such as, okay? They suggest what? Revisions, such as the first example given, changing words, and something, and paragraphs.
Rearranging something.
What should we use? To rearrange, rearranging, rearrange, or will rearrange?
Gerund. B.
Exactly, rearranging to make it parallel with changing. Thank you. Question number 3, okay? Now, they also may carry out research. So the first verb here is carry out, base form. Confirm, base form, and verify, base form. And now all the 3 verbs in the list have the same form, right? Carry out, confirm, and verify. Now look.
What's will verify called?
Man, I'm sorry. But Adam can help you. Sit next to Adam. Because now here's the thing, guys, look, we've done now paragraphs 1 and 2. I want you to do 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Okay, for those who don't have the document, I'm gonna send it on the group. Okay?
Can you please repeat the answers of 2, 3, and 4? It cut off. Just the letters.
Very quickly, look, paragraph number 1. Question number 1, C. Question number 2, C. Question number 3, A. Paragraph 2. Question number 1, B. Question number 2, C. Question number 3, B.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So let me just share this document that we are working on. I'm going to share it on our WhatsApp group. Of course, again, you're supposed to have it from the platform, but I'm sending it now so that you can work on it. We've already finished the first 2 paragraphs, but I need you guys, as I said, to do the other 4 paragraphs, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Okay? 2 pages. All of them, all the time.
I don't think I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Should I send you my number?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, guys, can you work on it now? It's already there in the group. And Sidra, I'm gonna also send you once I have your number, okay? But also, look, I'm gonna share it here anyway. Yeah, sure, go ahead. So look, guys, please sit together so that you can help each other. Adam and Anas.
Teacher.
Just a second, Yahya, okay?
The second is just like that news. شو يعني multi هذول الوقف.
I don't know. Sorry.
He says like people, 10 people died fire during the fire that killed 10 people. What our commercial is saying is that the fire was too hot for this. That's why they died from the fire.
Okay, so guys, are we ready to check our answers?
Just a minute.
Yeah, you wanted to ask a question. If you still have that question, go ahead. Or
Yes.
say something. Yalla, what is it? Tell me.
Just a second. I'm just looking for it. Is whether the same as either, like the same?
No, it's not the same. Okay, we can talk about that later. But let's see here. Look, whether it's a sympathetic tilt of the head or an excited sweep of the tail, dogs often seem to be saying they can sense exactly what we're feeling. So here is the thing. We have or, and that's or that's connecting the two phrases together with a sympathetic tilt of the head or an excited sweep of the tail. Are these two phrases similar?
Yes.
Yes. Here we have a sympathetic, an excited, tilt, sweep, head, tail. So the same structure. So we're gonna keep it as it is, no change. Okay? A sympathetic tilt, an excited sweep of the head, of the tail. If you look at B, C, or D, they all give us different structures. Let's do number 2. Yes.
Does excitedly.
It's different.
Excitedly.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, let's see. Samir, what about the second question? They say, in fact, a recent study found that dogs are able to distinguish between expressions that indicate happiness and those in which anger is indicated. Samir, is there a problem in the underlying part or not? Do you think there is something wrong or do you think it's fine?
There's something wrong?
What is it? Here we have expressions that indicate happiness. That's active.
Yes.
But here, in which anger is indicated, that's
Passive.
and that's not parallel. Okay, can you tell me now which one we can choose? Is it B, C, or D? Remember, we're looking for the active one.
So B?
Yes, exactly. It is C. Okay? Look, expressions and ones. Of course, here ones is just referring to expressions. We don't want to repeat the word expression. So we can say what ones? That indicates happiness, anger. So same form, same structure, and parallel. Clear enough?
Yes.
All right, let's move to number 4 quickly. Jana, first there was the forest quake. Then there was the fire tornado. Thunder, snow is what there is now. So now we have different sentences. Parallel structure is in different sentences. Can you tell me which sentence is parallel to the ones that we have here, 1 and 2?
D.
Yes, thank you. So first, then, now. There was, there is. Force quake, fire tornado, thunder, snow. Okay? Same structure. So the answer is D. If we move to the second question, Usama, he was saying that thunder snow is essentially the same as a thunderstorm. The only difference is that snow falls instead of rain falling. What should we do here, Usama, in question number 2?
1 minute, mister.
Sorry?
I think it's D.
So we delete it. Because we can just say snow falls instead of rain. That's it. Snow and rain, they're both nouns. We don't need any other verb. Number 3, Muhammad. Now they're telling us that it occurs when the layer of air closest to the ground is cold enough to create snow, but being warmer than the air above it. What should we choose? Can you tell me?
D.
D. Yes, thank you. So look, as we said, is cold enough to create snow, but warmer. Period means full stop. Okay.
Yes. Why did we choose it? We have a verb, and we have in the which choice C we have also a verb. Doesn't have
Which one?
C 3.
Okay. Now, once you choose C, remember that now we have subject and verb. It is, right? So we should have a comma before the fanboy, but here we don't have a comma, so we cannot choose it. D.
Okay. Mr. About B and also warmer?
No, really said not only, but also. But also, okay? Never use and also at the same time because that's redundancy. What does it mean and? Addition. What does that mean also? Addition. When you put them together, you're using 2 words for the same idea, and that's considered redundant. That's why you don't choose it, okay? So let's move to paragraph number 5. Tasneem. Architects design buildings. Civil engineers build bridges. And we need a third sentence that keep or maintain the same sentence pattern already established in the paragraph. Which one should we choose?
B, because structural engineers and then architects, civil engineers, they're all the same structure.
Thank you. So here we are saying architects design buildings. Civil engineers build bridges. Structural engineers keep everything. Okay, thank you. Now, Radwa, question number 2. They're telling us now, their know-how is vital to mastering green construction's novel materials and innovative practices, whether used to harness the force of the wind or what should we say? Capturing or capture? Radwa?
Capture the power of the waves. C.
Good, thank you so much. Now, Radwa, why did you choose the base form, capture? Based on what?
The verb before it is in infinitive.
Thank you. So use to harness or capture. That's why we cannot choose A or B because they have ing. We cannot choose D because here, look, capture the power possessed by the waves, which is wordy. It gives us the same meaning as the waves have, right? But it's also passive, possessed by. So it's passive, and that's why it's worthy. For these two reasons, D is wrong. The last three questions that we have here. Sidra, here they're telling us that in Japan, these poems are valued for their simplicity, openness, and being light.
It's sense of lightness.
Thank you. So you have a noun, and another noun. Here we cannot use because subject verb, here that's ing, and here also ing. Of course, look, actually the best option would be just lightness, right? Simplicity, openness, and lightness. We don't have that here. The closest one is sense of lightness. It's still correct, and we can choose it. But they, as I told you, they never give you two options that are correct, because that would be confusing. Doesn't make sense, right? Number two, Yahya.
Yes.
You were saying that haiku poems can describe anything, but they're seldom complicated or people have difficulty understanding them. Do you think that we can keep it as it is, no change? Yes. Where's the list? It's a list of adjectives, okay? The first one is complicated, or we need another adjective, difficult to understand. So now they are both adjectives, complicated or difficult to understand. Okay, now the last question goes to Sana. Sana, the last question, number 3. For example, blossoms would indicate spring. Snow would give the idea of winter, and summertime would be suggested by mosquitoes. So what should we choose, Sana, for this question? Number 3. If you look at the first one, look, blossoms would indicate spring. In the same way, snow would give winter. So which of these options give us the same one?
C.
It is C. Mosquitoes would suggest summertime.
This is active and passive, right?
Active.
Yes, I mean.
Yeah. Instead of is suggested by or is given by. Yes, exactly. Great. So that's our topic for today. I took a screenshot of the rules. I sent it on the group. Make sure, please, do the other 3 pages. Adam, today you didn't show me your homework. And guys, those who are sending me the homework like 5 minutes before the lesson, sorry, it's just the same as you didn't do it. I need to have a look at your answers, and I need to know which ones you got right, which ones you got wrong. So when you send me the homework just like 5 or 10 minutes before the session, doesn't really help me.
Is Miss Dania here?
No, she's not. Okay, just a second. So here's the thing. Now we have paragraphs 7, 8, 9, and 10. These are your homework. 4 paragraphs, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And please send me the answers tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you send it at 12 at midnight, no problem. But tomorrow is the deadline, so please don't be late. And if you have any question, like if there's anything that's difficult, you can always text me, okay? I'll tell you now. If you have no questions, feel free to leave. See you on Thursday, inshallah. Goodbye.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
We said that the nouns that end with ing, what are they called again?
What is it?
Nouns that end with ing, participles? Or
No,
what are they
gerund.
called?
Gerund.
And that end with ed?
Nouns, we don't have nouns that end with ed.
Adjectives,
right?
Then, right?
It's adjectives or verbs, and we call that past participle.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
So can I ask a question about the platform?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
I signed into the platform, but I didn't find that course there.
Okay, again, please, whenever you have any problem with the platform, you need to text Miss Dania. the one that sends the links every day. Okay? Whenever you have a problem about your account, about the platform, about anything related to the WhatsApp group, always just talk to her and she will help you.
Thank you, Mr.
Because after you create an account, she needs to add you to the course. So tell her to add you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, guys, that's it. Do your homework, study the lesson again, revise it, and see you on Thursday. Goodbye.